Hey guys, Steph and Paige here from thegoodride.com. In this video, we have the Borealis Koi in a 152. This is a free ride powder board. It likes to go fast, carve hard, and float in powder. It comes with a stiff flex. It's a pretty stiff flex. It's got some carbon in there. It's got a bamboo top sheet. The Camber Profile is kind of like a setback camber. So there's this pretty small camber zone from like under the front foot to under the back foot. And then we get a super drawn out rocker on the nose and a little bit of rocker on the tail. And they also have some side cut disruptions, which are, it comes out a little bit, just, this one is just outside of the bindings, like kind of on the outer edge of the binding. So you get 2 points per each side, 1, 2, 1, 2, and it also has a sintered base to keep it nice and fast. So we got this on a few different days. The first day was kind of like icy-ish, hard pack, hard snow groomer day.
Yeah.
And then I took it out on like a pretty heavy powder day. It was super deep. And then today was kind of like a normal groomer day.
So all around, a really fun board to ride. It turns really easily. It's really easy to pivot on this big nose, surprisingly. Feels semi-locked in when you're riding it on snow. And yeah, it has a lot of power, surprisingly. It's a bigger board, so it can feel a little bit overwhelming at times. Maybe like, I don't know, for me, just like on harder conditions. I don't know, maneuvering a bigger board is just a little bit harder. But yeah, all around, really fun board. I didn't get to try it in the powder, but it rode really well. It's got a little bit of a surfy feel, and yeah, it likes to go fast.
Yeah. Oh, and it is tapered as well. I forgot to mention that.
Yeah, so it's kind of got like a spoon-shaped nose, and then it comes down and tapers off, and then kind of like a more mellow taper from the waist to the tail.
Yeah, you can. I feel like you can see it in the front profile, how it's like straight-ish, and then it just goes whoop. It's a big old nose. But I think that's what helps it feel not so big.
Yeah.
Because the rocker starts right here, and then the nose kind of is a little off the snow when you're riding in harder pack snow.
Yeah, so even for a longer board, it doesn't feel catchy. Because yeah, there's not as much like surface contact up here because of the rocker.
Yeah, so you only kind of notice it when you get into deeper snow, and then you actually have contact and it helps you float.
Yeah.
The waist width is 250. So it is a wider board, even though it is tapered. You get a lot of good surface area on the snow. Definitely a little bit of more effort to turn than a thinner waisted board, but it's not super bad.
Yeah.
I was really surprised, especially for 152, how maneuverable this board felt.
Yes.
It didn't feel huge. It was like pretty quick to turn, maybe medium fast.
Yeah.
I wouldn't say fast, but like
pretty fast for a bigger board.
Yeah.
Yeah, with a big nose.
Yeah. And semi-locked in, like Paige said. The camber zone's pretty small. The camber's pretty mellow. It's not really aggressive.
Yeah.
But, you know, you're still on the snow. And I feel like with the waist width, I don't know if it's the waist width or the side cut, but this thing can carve.
Yeah.
Like you tip it up and it's got no problem just riding across the run, and the turn radius is pretty big as well. So you can carve it for days. Like I was getting some knee drag on some carves without really trying that hard.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's pretty rad if you like to carve. Kind of medium to large turns though.
Yeah.
Could be because it's a 152, but I feel like the personality is a little bit more bigger.
Bigger turns, that free ride style.
Yeah. I feel like you could do like little slashy turns on it though.
Yeah.
It was fun for that. Cool, so let's get into it on steeps. I actually quite enjoyed this on the steeps. I brought it up. It was a hard packed day, so it wasn't like in soft snow. We can always hope. I really enjoyed it. I felt like it had a nice connection to the snow. and you get those extra contact points, so you get a little extra help in staying connected and not slipping out. Again, pretty maneuverable, but it likes those open turns. It's kind of similar to some Jones boards that I've ridden.
Yeah.
Or even some Weston boards are kind of in that same realm. Yeah, so off-piste is where I kind of felt the length of this board and the width under my feet. I felt like sometimes it was a little harder to turn. If it wasn't wide open, like in trees and stuff, you had to really be on top of it, because once it gets away from you, it's you can't bring it back. That being said, if this was like, I don't know, what size would you like? Like a...
I would like it in like a 147.
A 147, yeah. I feel like 147 is my bigger board.
Like a big board.
So I would imagine it would actually be very fun and maneuverable and manageable in like a smaller size.
Yeah, so I didn't get to ride this through the trees, but just comparing it to like those smaller quick turns on Groomers, I wouldn't necessarily want this size in the trees, but like we're saying, if it was a bit smaller, it'd be a bit easier to whip around those small.
Right. So if you're a bigger rider and have bigger feet, then this will probably maneuver okay off-piste for you. It was just like for us smaller riders, it was a little too much.
Yeah.
And then in powder, you know, it kind of felt the same. You get this big old nose, a lot of surface area, wide waist width, so you're definitely floating. But I found off-piste in powder, I took it on like a deep day, and it was a little hard to maneuver. But on the wider turns and like open powder, as long as like steeper terrain where you could keep the speed up and not try too hard, it was a lot of fun. Definitely floated.
So I took this board out on a couple different days. One of the days was really hard packed, borderline pretty icy, maybe a little chalky. And then today, you know, there's some snow out there. It's a pretty nice groomer day. Yeah, all around this board's really fun. Like we were saying, it's like medium quick to turn. Yeah, it has that semi-locked in feel, but it just has a nice flow to it, I guess. So if you're one of those people that just likes to cruise and like go around the mountain making some bigger turns, like this is a nice board, even on just a groomer day. You know, it's not just a powder board. Smaller closed turns, like maybe not its favorite thing to do, but it's still possible. Skidded turns, super easy. Like Steph was saying, carving is awesome on this board, which isn't common for all, you know,
Powder board.
Yeah, exactly. So yeah, these contact points, these little like, this edge technology is really nice. So it keeps you locked in, but you're not feeling catchy. Yeah, all around really fun board, even if you're just gonna go take some laps on some Groomers.
Right, it keeps its dynamic feeling, and it's like interesting to ride even on Groomers.
Yeah,
for sure.
It's not just like a super stiff like powder board that just feels kind of like a log. You know, it has some liveliness to it. It's pretty easy to flex torsionally, I thought, even though it is like a stiffer board laterally. Yeah.
Fun on Groomers for sure.
Yeah.
Not really a park board, but you know, stable enough for natural drops and stuff. If you're out on the mountain, you want to drop a rock or a little cliff or something, I feel like this will bring you out of it, and you have plenty of board to land on.
Yeah.
You don't have to worry about like overshooting. You get the nose, so you're not going to go over the front, and a nice wide waist width for a good solid landing.
Yeah.
I did ride a switch though. You can ride the switch. It's not.
You can.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's not. It doesn't feel super backwards. It just feels like the tail's a little shorter, but it's not. The taper doesn't make it feel really awkward.
Yeah. Did you butter it switch?
I tried.
Okay.
It was not very butterable.
Okay.
I was hoping.
Yeah, I was wondering if you got up on the nose.
No, I could probably tripod it normal, but it would take some effort.
Yeah, it's pretty long.
Yeah, but once you get it up here, I'm sure you can do it. Who is this board for? I feel like it would be better for like a higher intermediate advanced rider. Just because, you know, it's got the carbon, it's a little stiffer.
Yeah.
But if you're into like the free ride-y thing and that's your style and you're an intermediate rider, you could probably be happy with it.
Yeah.
Someone who likes powder, open turns, going fast.
Yes.
Wants a damp ride.
Who enjoys carving when there's no powder to be had, and doesn't mind having a little bit more board underfoot.
Yeah, because right now it only comes in a 152. So that's your only choice. But if this was like offered in smaller sizes, I think it would really open up the possibility for a lot of smaller riders to get on it.
Yeah.
And have a lot of fun. Oh, and it also has powder setback, so it's got a lot of options for setting back. But you get extra setback. And we rode this with the Union Milans at like a 20.5-inch stance. But I honestly kind of felt like I wanted it to be a little bit narrower of a stance. I feel like I could get more power out of it that way. So maybe a little bit, slightly more of a free ride style stance.
Yeah. Yeah, overall, Borealis, they're also a really cool company. They use a lot of eco-friendly tactics in the design process and also in the construction of their boards. So that's also a really cool aspect to why supporting this company is something that you should think about doing. They do use a lot of eco-friendly materials. The Borealis
Koi.